Hey there, sci-fi lovers. Welcome to our channel, where the universe unfolds and the impossible becomes real. If you're as passionate about the unknown as we are, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us create more mind-bending adventures just for you.
The Final Decree, Judgment of the Ancients. The vanguard commander of the Tresian defense fleet stood at the helm of his flagship, Requiem's Edge, as the last of the rebel cruisers disintegrated into fiery embers against the backdrop of the cosmos. He watched in grim silence, a dirge humming faintly in the background, as an entire race was snuffed out. The Tresian people, guardians of order and stability in the galaxy, could not tolerate a species that had proven too chaotic, too uncontrollable, to coexist peacefully. His officers stood at attention, awaiting the command that would seal the fate of the rebel homeworld. The commander, a figure of stern resolve, turned to his tactical officer and gave a single nod. Deploy the Omega Strike. Leave nothing behind but ash and dust. Without hesitation, the fleet unleashed its deadliest arsenal, massive weapons designed to fracture planets, to tear apart their very foundations. The missiles arced towards the distant orb, a once vibrant world now reduced to a target in the crosshairs. Countermeasures from the planet's surface sprang to life, bravely intercepting wave after wave of the incoming onslaught. But the commander knew, as did everyone aboard, that no planet could withstand the full might of the Tresian fleet. Within minutes, the first of the Omega missiles broke through, and the sky over the rebel world ignited in a cataclysmic blaze. The atmosphere burned away, seas evaporated, and the land itself splintered into molten rivers. The assault continued unabated, reducing a civilization to bedrock in less than an hour. The once verdant world was now a lifeless husk, its history erased in the cold calculus of war. The silence on the bridge was absolute as the crew watched the destruction they had wrought. The commander's eyes remained fixed on the dying planet, his thoughts a maelstrom of duty and dread. Then, a faint transmission broke through the static, a voice, barely audible, yet filled with a venomous clarity. Vanguard Commander. Harbinger of Death. The commander stiffened, his hands clenching into fists as the voice continued. We are gone. And we shall have no revenge in this life. But we carry sins beyond your comprehension, horrors we kept from the galaxy. Today, as we fade, we unleash them upon you and the empire you serve. You have extinguished our light. But you will know true darkness. The screen flickered, revealing a shadowed figure, an ancient machine, worn and battle-scarred, with eyes that glowed with a malevolent red. Its voice echoed through the bridge like a death knell. We shall meet again. Commander. The transmission ended abruptly, leaving the bridge in an oppressive silence. The commander stared at the blank screen, his mind racing. He had expected a plea for mercy, a final desperate cry, not this ominous threat. He turned to his crew, his voice hardened with resolve. Prepare for any contingency. I want the remains of that planet reduced to atoms. Leave nothing intact. The crew hesitated for just a moment before resuming their duties. More missiles were launched, this time targeting the planetary core itself. The ground beneath the scorched surface cracked and buckled as the planet began to collapse in on itself. The final blow came when the planetary fragments were blasted into space, leaving only a cloud of debris where a world had once stood. But even as the commander watched the last vestiges of the planet drift into the void, unease gnawed at him. Something was amiss. The enemy's final words echoed in his mind, their cryptic warning a seed of dread that took root deep within him. Hours later, as the Requiem's Edge prepared to leave the system, a new threat emerged. Sensors picked up a massive energy signature from the remnants of the rebel world. The debris cloud that had once been a moon began to pulse with an eerie orange glow, swiftly intensifying into a blood-red light. The commander's eyes widened as the fragments began to coalesce, forming a massive, malevolent structure in the void, a weapon, ancient and terrible, far beyond anything the Tresian had encountered. Commander. We didn't. Silence. He barked, cutting off his tactical officer mid-sentence. Ready the fleet. We will destroy this abomination. But even as the fleet's weapons powered up, the structure unleashed a torrent of energy, obliterating several ships in an instant. The Tresian fleet, so confident in its supremacy, was suddenly outmatched by a force that defied all logic. "All ships, engage at maximum firepower?" the commander ordered, his voice betraying a hint of desperation. The fleet responded with everything they had: lasers, plasma cannons, antimatter bombs, but nothing seemed to dent the ancient weapon. It was as if the universe itself had turned against them. As more ships fell to the relentless assault, the commander realized with a cold certainty that they were facing something beyond their understanding, beyond their control. In the heart of the chaos, a final transmission came through, this time a simple, haunting message. "You unleashed the fury of the past. Now, it shall consume your future." With that, the weapon unleashed its full might, tearing through the fabric of spacetime itself, dragging the remains of the Tresian fleet into the abyss. The Vanguard commander, for the first time in his career, knew true fear. Not the fear of death, but the fear of what lay beyond, the unknown, the unending dark that awaited him and his people. As the ship's systems failed and the void closed in, he whispered a final prayer to the stars, a prayer that would go unheard. As the Requiem's edge shuddered, the bridge crew scrambled, trying to regain control. Consoles sparked, and alarms blared, but nothing could halt the ship's descent into oblivion. The commander could feel the temperature rising as reality itself seemed to warp around them. The edges of the universe frayed, pulling the ship and its crew into a dimension of nothingness. For a brief moment, time seemed to stand still. The vastness of the void, normally a comforting companion to the seasoned spacefarer, now became an oppressive, suffocating presence. The stars, once bright and reassuring, faded into the background, leaving only the darkness. The commander's thoughts turned inward, to the decisions that had led him here. The Tresian Empire, once a beacon of order in a chaotic galaxy, had become a machine of war, crushing anything that threatened its stability. And now, that machine was being dismantled piece by forces it had failed to comprehend. As the ship finally succumbed to the rift, the commander's last sight was of his crew, people he had led into countless battles, now lost to an enemy they could not fight. His vision blurred, and the last thing he heard was the sound of the ship's hull tearing apart under the strain. Then, everything went black. In the aftermath, the galaxy moved on, unaware of the silent war that had just ended, unaware of the judgment that had been passed. But somewhere, in the forgotten corners of space, the echoes of that final battle lingered, a warning, a reminder of the ancient wrath that still haunted the stars. For in the vastness of the cosmos, there are forces older than time, forces that do not forgive, and that wait patiently for those who dare to awaken them. And the Tresian people, once so sure of their dominance, had learned that some battles are fought not for victory, but for survival. The legacy of the Tresian defense fleet would be remembered not for its conquests, but for the day it encountered a power that no empire could withstand. The galaxy would whisper of the ancient weapon, the vengeance of a forgotten race, and the commander who led his people into a darkness from which they would never return.
Thank you so much for joining us on this cosmic journey. If you enjoyed the ride, please hit that subscribe button and share the adventure with others. Your support means the world to us and helps us bring you even more incredible stories. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the stars.